What's up? Reporting live from my treadmill at the 1 month mark, actually 1 month and 2 days. I'm 2 days late with my update, so here goes. Got my surgery November 4th, 2016, if you've been following along. Set some goals for myself on November 3rd. As far as walking is concerned, it's really still all I could do, or all they recommend I do for the first 6 weeks. Week 1, I did 3.07 miles. Terrible. I wanted to do between 7 and 10. I failed miserably, but rightfully so. When you first get out of surgery, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's really difficult to walk. It's hard to even just get out of bed. So, not to mention 2 of those days I spent at the hospital. So, I fell behind. I wanted to make up for it week 2. Week 2, my goal was to complete 8 to 12 miles within that range. I finished at 10.43, so I didn't break my goal. I landed within the range, and I was at least happy that I jumped up considerably from the week prior, 3.07. Week 3 was going to be my last week home recovering. I had all intentions on, after 3 weeks being home, getting back to work full time. So I made a focus to walk as much as I possibly can, build that strength up, get my endurance back, get moving. I do notice that the more I move, the more I walk, the better I feel. I do the heating pad a little bit in between, sometimes some ice if I'm a little sore, but for the most part, just a brisk walk feels good. Week 3, I hit major milestones. I was able to do 5 miles in 1 day, 2 days in a row. In fact, for the week, I finished at 28.04 miles for the week. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever walked that much in my life. Can't really jog yet. I've actually attempted to. I probably shouldn't have. I still feel pain in my low back when I attempt to speed it up. I have noticed, however, I've made improvements as far as speed is concerned. The first week, if I could walk just over 2 miles an hour, it was a lot. I'm on the treadmill now, you could probably hear it. But I've built up to a 4 mile an hour, more of a brisk walk. No pain, no sciatic pain, and even really no back pain. So the speed is getting there. I guess that's improvement. The last week, which was going into my 4th week, my return to work, I knew it was going to be difficult for me to focus on doing nothing but walking and recovering with getting back to work. I hit the ground running. I was a little afraid of that. I probably spent 2, maybe 3 of those days. I worked 14 to 15 hours. And the best news I could tell you is that I had 0 pain. I spent about 3 hours in the car one of those days, driving to a few different locations, hour-long drives. I had prepared for the pain to come back. I took Tylenol and an Naproxen with me, just being prepared the pain was going to come back, and it never did. I was thrilled. Tightness and soreness in the back, sure, that's to be expected, I believe. But I haven't been on any meds since within the first week of surgery, so feeling great. My walking dropped off considerably once I returned to work. I had a feeling that would happen. I've been getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and trying to get at least 1.5 miles to maybe 2 miles in before work, because if I don't do it then, I'm not going to be able to do it by the time I get home with the hours I've been working and the family. It's just difficult. So make sure you get that in. My pain levels have been feeling great. My sciatic pain, very, very sporadically, I'll feel a little bit in my lower part of my ankle. Not nearly enough that I would need to take anything. In fact, within a couple of minutes, it usually goes away. I do notice I still have a considerable amount of swelling at the incision site, a little bit of a bump, almost like a marble on the base of my spine. I don't know if that's a little bit of a buildup of scar tissue or still just sore from the incision site. My stitches are probably still dissolving, or hopefully they're completely gone at this point. My right hip, or I should say my right glute, still have a lot of soreness there. If I take my right leg and basically put it over my left if I'm seated to try to stretch and push down on my knee, which was a stretch I used to always do when I had the bad sciatic pain. That hurts a lot. I can't do it. I don't do it. I try to avoid it, but I'm testing my limits to see, what's still hurting me and what's not. The 6-week mark, which is coming up in 2 weeks, is when hopefully the doctor will clear me to begin physical therapy. And I have a feeling that once I start with my physical therapy and a good regimen, 3 days a week, a couple hours each session, with some strengthening exercises and some stretching, I'd imagine that my mobility would improve, my flexibility would improve. I'll be honest, if you told me 4 weeks out from surgery, though, I'd have completed at this point probably over 55 miles of total walking. I would have told you, no way. That sounds like an impossible feat right after back surgery. So if you're on the fence, so far, so good. I've had a great experience with it. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm not going to stop until I am. So stay tuned. I'll do another update 1 month from now. And a little tidbit I found funny today. Rob Gronkowski of the Patriots, if you're a Pats fan, had the same surgery I had yesterday. And there's a video going around of him using a walker, walking around a hospital. And the only thing I can say to you, Gronk, is I didn't even hold a hand. Toughen up, big boy.